But first, Rob, what do you make of this delay of the documentary?
This thing should have been titled Tom is Tacky. That's what it should have been called. Talk about arrogant and cocky. That you released this before the Super Bowl, and you know they thought Eric, you know they thought they were going to win.
You know they did.
This is what Tom, it was all set up. I want to see the footage that they got to send to some foreign country that we'll never see in the United States, because it was all set up. Tom's the greatest. Tom versus time. Oh, my goodness. And it was all set up there. And then they lose. He gets outplayed. I don't want to hear about 500 yards. He got outplayed by Nick Foles, who made unbelievable throws, played the greatest game of his life. And now Tom Brady, that argument and that documentary doesn't hold the same weight. We're going to wait around for the second half of it, the end of it. It'll never come, because it's not going to make any sense. They'll wind up scrapping it. He lost. Well, he had some nerve to do that before the Super Bowl.
I do agree with that. I feel like, first of all, time never loses. Know that.
No, Father Time is undefeated.
It's undefeated, you know, and I don't understand. I understand the documentary, because I think Tom is, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, for sure. Arguably. You know, it depends on who you like. But, you know, to do this documentary, and like you said, they thought they were going to win this football game. They didn't win the football game. So it kind of looks kind of tacky. So how do you go back and how do you fix it? You wait till next year and see if they play? Or how do you, I mean, that's my question. How do you end this? I mean, that's the big question. Do you just let it sit, or do you kind of fill it in? Because he had a great game. I mean, he did. You got to say he had 500 yards passing. You know, he had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they had 33 points.
He also fumbled to lose the game, the biggest play of the game. Don't forget that, Eric.
I didn't forget that, but that wasn't his fault. The defense did make some plays.
All right,
that was a great play. That was a great play by the defense. So, you know, I don't know what you do with it. I don't know how you got.
Well, look, he released this long Instagram post about how, you know, this can be a learning experience, and, you know, you learn from everything. Well, he has to learn. He should have learned this in 2008. But he has this habit of getting ahead of himself. Remember 2008 when Plaxico Burress predicted we would win 23-17, and Brady laughed it off like, oh, we only going to score 17 points. Because they had broken the record that year for, you know, points in the season.
I think 37 a game.
Like 30, almost 37 points a game with Randy Moss. I mean, it was crazy. They got beat, obviously, but it was even 17-13 with 17-14.
They only had 14 points, right?
So that was an example of him getting ahead of himself. This, by releasing this early, he could have waited, and had they won the Super Bowl, you could have released this whole thing, and it would have been just as big, or maybe bigger, than them releasing it before, or you could have obviously held it in the case that you lost. So he's got to stop. As great as he is, don't get ahead of yourself and start talking when you need to keep quiet.
For me, I've watched it. I enjoy it. And I think that it's great. So whether they released it or not, do you expect me? I'm just going to put myself in Tom's shoes really quick. I'm not Tom. I don't have 5 Super Bowl rings. I just got 1. But you expect me to have a backup version of losing? Is that what we expect him to have had? A version where, oh, just in case we lose, let's make that one.
It is TV, baby.
They taped it with him talking about having won it?
I think they did.
See, you don't need to do that.
I think they definitely taped it with in mind, thinking, okay, we're going to win this. That's just a confidence that he has.
But is he sitting there saying, but I think, yeah, it was a tough one, but we overcame?
We overcame.
No. I don't think he's doing all of that, because he understands you got to play the game.
Okay.
I don't think he thought it was a shoo-in, but I think he was hoping, just like they said, that they won. But I think they should still use part of that and let him build on that and say, yeah, this was a learning experience even for me, because I prepared to win. I don't prepare to lose. So you don't have to backtrack all the way, because he has a growth mindset. He has an expectation of winning. You can't knock him for that.
No.
Much as you want to.
I'm using the language and everything.
It's fact. It's fact. I'm not going to.
But look, he has to have, right? Okay, so there's an ending to it. You mean to tell me as producers, you don't have another ending just to, how do you work this if you lose? There's a chance you could lose. So now they're sitting there. I talked to the producers earlier. I think they're going to try to cast Roseanne Barr for the second. She's going to run out.
No. I want you to, Rob, I want you to pay attention to what you're saying. You got to think about how religious Tom Brady is. I don't think that he is going to even promote a thought at them losing because of his mindset.
I get that.
And then to your point of 2018, 2008 against the Giants, why wouldn't he laugh that off?
You just, because you're getting ahead of it. Just say, okay, that's what Plaxico thinks.
Good for him, right?
Exactly. He should be confident. He laughed it off and he got, I don't want to say exposed, but it came back to bite him. They didn't even score 17.
Okay. Wait a minute. Not one of us up here would have, if we were betting on that game, or if you did not think that they would only score 14 points.
I bet on the game. And I bet the Giants straight up, just like I bet this game.
I
didn't want the points. I said they're going to beat them straight up. I didn't say the points, but I said they'll beat them straight up. I said they'll beat them straight. I don't want the points.
I'm just saying,
beat them straight up. That's just always a chance. Look,
it is.
That's why you play the game. I mean, look, it's a lot of teams. When the Rams played the Patriots in New Orleans in the Super Bowl, the Rams were picked to win that game. The Patriots, I was like, whoa, a big shot. I mean, I think when you left the game, when this game ended, when they threw the Hail Mary, I think people like,
right?
That's it? Is it a penalty down there? I know it's a penalty.
You're almost looking for something.
You almost, because they're the Patriots. And that's the ending everybody wants. Tom comes on the field. He throws, touchdown! That's what everybody wanted.
And Greg, this is the other part is, okay, what is the other alternate? When they make movies, they have other endings. Everything's all set up. So I'm asking you, if Tom Brady's this great guy, Tom versus time, where's the losing part?
Right.
That he doesn't even have a thing to deal with. That's the losing part.
But that's my point. I don't think he will even entertain that because he has a mindset that I'm going to beat it regardless.
You're right. I mean, you can't add, Eric, you never would have made a documentary where you do make an alternative ending. My thing is just wait.
No. I said wait.
Yes, but you don't make one where just in case you lose time. He's not going to entertain that. No pro athlete would entertain that.
No, but my point is, as producers who are doing this, what do we do if they lose?
No, should have just waited.
I agree. It's on the filmmakers.
Right.
What would he have done to those producers if they would have said, make things
it's TV. This is what happens.
No, they would have got fired, and rightly so.
You gotta have them. What are you gonna give to people?
You just wait till the Super Bowl's over.
So I'm saying, what are you gonna do now?
You can do it next year.
They're shooting it now. What would happen if he would lose? That's what they're shooting now. Okay. So episode 5. How did episode 5 end? Does anybody know?
I think what they're doing now is they're going to sit down and let him talk about even the process of the Super Bowl, losing a heartbreak game that they could have potentially won, and I think it'll still be great. It's not, you don't have to backtrack all the way. And if anything, what he did wrong, and I still don't think he did it wrong, but if there's anything for him to be faulted for, was releasing it at the time that he did. But to say prepare for a separate ending, that's no, because if he released it and then we had an ending where it was like, man, did he think that they were going, did he throw the game? Did he?
Yeah. No. You have two prepared. You have two separate ones prepared.
It's not a good, but my point is, it's not a good look either way. If you prepared and you got one that
prepared,
says.
I'm not saying that you actually shoot it and he's saying, oh my God, it's terrible that we lost. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about being prepared that there's a chance
that we can lose.
That you could lose, and you got to have something else to say to finish out the documentary. That's my point.
I guarantee you this. I bet they had T-shirts printed up, Super Bowl
yes,
I guarantee that. Both teams probably had them.
They're on their way to Guatemala.
Everybody on their way to Disney World.
We just shred those up.
Eric, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure. All right, well, LeBron stayed in Cleveland now that he likes his new teammates. He said enough to keep him there. We'll check it out next. Stay here.